All right, dear ones. You went deeper than you know. We often say so, and yet it is true. We have been working between the words with you as you have journeyed to your success cube to make some adjustments to align you with, certainly so, your destiny of coming home, of co-creating the new world of dominion, to allow your beliefs to expand for your new self. Your optimal future is co-creating the you who stands here now, pulling you towards yourself in the future. Wonderfully so. And so we have time for a question or two. Who would like to begin? Please unmute yourself.
Tara, hello, it's Francis. Hi.
Yes, dear one. Where do we begin?
Well, I'm programming and projecting out more abundance and more freedom in my life, and
Wonderful.
So is there some? Can you see some progress in that area? Of course, I work with you on a regular basis. I work with Kathy, and I work with several others. And is there any advice that you'd give me that I need more of or less of?
Well, you certainly have shifted, haven't you? Over the last few months, you have grown and changed beautifully so.
Thank you,
And
Tara.
there is a clarity to your focus. And as you allow that to draw you forward, to allow that future self to pull you forward, rather than pushing. It is easy to think you have to do and push the energy forward to see the results, but it actually is the other way, isn't it? We want you to simply fill yourself each morning with that sense of abundance, that sense of light of who you are and who you are becoming. And in that resonance, you will generate the elegance and the ease that you seek. And you will be amazed as you say, today, I'm willing for my success to be magical. And you are always amazed, aren't you, at the synchronicities or the connections that occur when you allow it to be that way. Then people come out of the woodwork, so to speak. People you haven't heard from in a very long time, or even ones who you are currently interacting with, bring you something new, a new idea or a new opportunity that advances you. Does this make sense?
Sure does. Sure does. Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. And certainly so. We also are aware of your desire to have a companion. And so as you include in that energy that you want freedom, you say freedom, but what you really want is the freedom to be who you are, to be accepted as you are.
Yes.
And so as you include that in your programming for your partner, you will find that you will be truer to yourself. You will allow your true self to create your partner. And what that means on an energetic level is you will allow higher self and soul to participate in the process.
Yeah, I don't really want to have to change to please anybody else. I'd like to be who I am. And as I get whispers about altering certain thoughts, feelings, beliefs, attitudes, choices, and decisions, I'd like to wait for the whispers from my higher self and the universe to make a shift if that's necessary.
Well, the way that we would like to suggest you proceed is to step out of the chauvinistic model that is the consensus template at times around men and women and their relationships. To step out of that, then you don't engage that pattern of, oh, she wants me to change, or I'm not happy with the way she is, so I want her to change. So there's that sense of, well, if you don't accept me as exactly as I am, then you don't love me. And there is truth to that statement. However, as you look at who are you made up of? Well, when there's fear, what is the voice? What are the beliefs that are at work? Well, they probably come from the lesser self, don't they? They come
Yeah.
from a place of survival. But if you step out of the template, the consensus template, and you simply step into love as a state of being, love as a healing energy, and you know what we mean when we say this, for you have experienced it many times and you exist in that state many times. So in that state of love, what you want for a relationship is coming from you the more, isn't it? From your valued self. And the valued self does accept you as you are, does allow you to know your worth, also knows how to respect your emotions, and feels the confidence and the esteem that you have earned for yourself, from yourself. And in that place of value, like attracts like, doesn't it? In that wonderful place of alignment with higher self, as you say, listening for the whispers, absolutely. Listening with your being. In that resonance, you will attract someone of that caliber, of that nature, to yourself. You will attract a woman who is aligned in the same way and who speaks the same language. And then freedom means something totally different, doesn't it? It's a freedom to be yourself and to be in love, to exist in love, rather than a freedom from. And so with that subtle shift in language and in being, and you'll have to shift from time to time. From time to time, the fear will come up, or you'll interact with someone who makes you realize, oh, they're doing it again. They're making me into something I don't want to be. Then simply recognize, oh, okay, for some reason I got triggered. It's my lesser self who's warning me away. Well, yes, warning me away from someone whose energy is not a match for me the more. But as I'm responsible for my energy, as I step into me the more and then go about my day, you will find that your resonance will attract exactly what you desire.
What I was saying is, I want to be considerate of others, but I don't want to have to change for anybody. I only want to change for myself. I want to improve.
Well, exactly. And that is what we are not saying that you shouldn't. Be aware, though, as you say, I don't want to change. What message are you giving your subconscious?
I see. Yeah.
So change the language to the second part and say, I'm willing to change in such a way that is for my highest good.
I see.
And just delete the other part, because the other part makes it not about you, but about them, which then disempowers you.
Yeah, because for certain reasons, I've actually had friends tell me they no longer want to be part of my life and don't no longer want to be my friend because of some of the beliefs I have and maybe some misunderstandings that took place, which I was, maybe a little bit shocked about. But, I have to accept their decisions. And at the same time, I want to improve. I want to get better. I want to change, but not for them, but for myself.
Well, absolutely. And usually when something comes at you, that is a reflection. You have to begin with you. You have to look at, okay, what is going on that I'm rejecting myself? What's going on that I'm limiting the love or withdrawing the love even? Is there something within myself that has bought the lie that I'm not worth loving? But you see, that's not coming from outside of you. You have to work with it as in, okay, this is a reflection. And I have to choose, is this what I want to continue to create, or do I want to change it? And as you were saying, you're not to focus on the other person isn't going to get you there. So perhaps there's a hurt, perhaps there's a pain, perhaps there's a sorrow, perhaps there is a survival mode that gets triggered when certain things happen. Each of you have this. We are speaking to each of you about the lesser self and the survival instinct that comes up when you reach for more, when you reach to grow. What comes up are your limiting beliefs. That which no longer serves you has to be addressed. So for you to be able to stand in love and to be and feel and acknowledge yourself as I'm worth loving, you have to let go of all the times you thought you weren't. And what would it mean to let that go? What would it mean to all the times you tried to earn love? It's a difficult concept. Worth is given. The grace that you are is given to you by God, Goddess. The way to access that grace is to connect with higher self and reach for soul. And it is a very personal process, isn't it? It happens within yourself. And as you activate your true self, you can release that which no longer serves you, the limiting beliefs, the limitations that you put on yourself in childhood, in adolescence, even in past lives. But you can find everything you need in this lifetime. So as a child, how did you try to control love or protect yourself from being unloved? As an adolescent, how did you try to get approval? How did you try to belong when you didn't feel you were worthy? Or when they said you weren't worthy, whoever they are, your peers. So each of you have those struggles. Each of you have instances where your love wasn't good enough or you didn't get enough of what you knew you needed when you actually did get enough or you wouldn't be here. However, as a child, anything less than all wasn't good enough because you came from a state of pure love. You came from, before manifesting, you knew what it felt like to be at one with God and Goddess, to exist in a state of pure love. And then to be born into the physical plane, to enter the density of the physicality, to be imprinted with limiting beliefs the moment you opened your eyes, took your first breath. You knew it wasn't right. And you made it about you. I have to fix this. I have to change it. If I just scream loud enough, if I just dance enough, if I just make them laugh enough, if I just be quiet and never say a word, if I deprive myself, I'll finally get what I need. That pattern was there for you to acknowledge, okay, it is different here in the physical plane. And I want it to be as much as possible like where I came from. However, I want this journey to be about individuating. I want to know myself. I want to test myself and prove myself. But along the way, as you entered adolescence, you made it about them. You made it about your peers or your mentors, your siblings. You wanted everyone else to approve of you. Well, if they validate me, then it'll be good enough. And then came the wounding. So for a brief moment in your time of eternal youth, you thought, oh, good, I've achieved it. I've arrived. I finally know that I have what it takes. And then the soul comes in and clips your wings with the wounding, reminding you it's not out there. It's inside of you. You have to go inside of you. And that began your journey into the time of the shadow, to gather that which you left behind, that which you lost in your childhood, in your adolescence, the misunderstandings where you sacrifice parts of self that you can't afford to move forward without. You had to gather your passion. You had to gather your love, your compassion, your that which is born of sorrow. You had to heal the pain. You had to look at, I feel separate from myself, from God and Goddess, from the world, and I want to heal that. I have this deep longing for oneness. I don't know where it comes from. It doesn't make sense in this world. It's a world of duality. Oneness isn't even really part of the picture. I don't know where that comes from. Well, you brought it in with you. Oneness exists outside of this universe. And you have come here to make the map to return to oneness without sacrificing the individuality which you have perhaps struggled to define. And that treasure is what you refuse to give up. It is that treasure that you
Who would you like to FaceTime with?
That you are saying, no, I will not give that up. I will not change that. And that's what's important to retain. Not the bad behaviors or the rejections or the hurtful comments or the arrogance or the pain of the past. All those defense mechanisms that the lesser self has put in place to help you survive. to help you individuate along the way. The treasure you want to retain is the individuation. I am an individual. I have value. I, as an I, have value. And I, as a singular person, being of light, will return to co-create the new world of dominion with God and Goddess as an equal. Because I have something valuable to contribute. And it is my grace. And that is the key message, isn't it?
Yes.
And then there's nothing to fight against, because no one can take it from you anyway. And how wonderful. It is a map you are making. Each of you here are making that map. The map makers in your world are making that map. And so you are right on track.
Thank you, Tara.
Tara, I haven't made any so-called New Year's resolution, and I don't know if that's because I'm kind of content with how it is right now, or like if it's lack of energy.
Well, there's a big difference between lack of energy and contentment, isn't there?
Yes.
But perhaps you have already decided them. Perhaps you have made them without really recognizing what it is you have spoken into being. So for instance, if you put yourself in the frame of mind of once COVID is over, the quarantine period, so to speak, there are certain things you want to accomplish. There are certain things you plan to do. So as you perhaps move yourself in your mind forward to the end of the year, what is it that you're going to be celebrating? What did you accomplish? What is it that you had on your list of things that really matter to you? So for you, it may be more around family. There may be certain elements that where when you put it in the context of family, well, everything else, nothing else really matters that much. And so it's all right to have those priorities as your New Year's. Well, New Year's resolutions tend to be things you want to change. Are there things that you want to change where you might have been limiting yourself? Or have you addressed that and now it's more about setting a goal in that area? So if you are learning something new, for instance, is there something tied to that? Is there an experience you haven't had yet out in the world where you say, well, that's really important. Maybe this is the year to do that. Does that help?
Yeah, no, I think that's how I feel. I mean, I have my goals. I've set my goals maybe last year, and I don't know if I reached them, but I'm working on them, and I have my goals, of course, after the pandemic. But I'm quite content, and the way it is right now. So
yes, and that's okay too, to be at peace with the way things are, to in a way have a break from the pace that was before the pandemic. For it has been an opportunity to just take things at a slower pace, to focus on what's most important to you. And there are many people who are saying, this is a much better version of reality than always being on the go and always doing out in the world. And so part of that is you can retain what you treasure from these days.
Yeah. No, that's a good explanation. Thank you.
Certainly so. It has been a wonderful time with you this evening. Certainly so. We've been working between the words with each conversation, with the meditation as well. As you dream tonight, allow yourself a few moments to remember your success cue, to allow yourself to dream it the way you want it to be, to experience the energy that is there just for you, to allow that energy to fill you, to inspire you, to awaken you in new ways. And so we go for now. We go with love and peace as we bring Katharina back.